Well, hello, Fayetteville Woodpeckers Nation. It is Tuesday. It is 2 o'clock, so y'all know what that means. That means it is story time at home with the Woodpeckers. We're so excited that you're joining in for another wonderful tale and entering into the realm of our imagination. We always love having you with us, so thank you for joining us. I'm Victoria Huggins, your manager of community and media relations for the team. We hope that you're having a great day. Got everything set up on Instagram, on Facebook. I see some of you going ahead and sending me some waves and some likes. So thank you for that wonderful encouragement. As you can tell, I am sporting some Woodpeckers gear. If you haven't already received and purchased your undefeated season for the Fayetteville Woodpeckers 2020, because we are undefeated in 2020. We just won't mention the fact that we're not playing baseball this year. So these shirts have been flying off the shelves at the team's store, the Bird's Nest, and they are for good reason. So if you turn around, you can see O&O. It's a perfectly undefeated season. But anyway, so make sure that you have these and you can be sporting these because they are limited edition. I think when I spoke with Brittany earlier this morning, our manager of our retail operations, that there are less than 50 left. So if you want to have one of these in your collection for the Fayetteville Woodpeckers, go ahead and I encourage you to order them today. Do not wait, and you can pick them up curbside during one of the days that we offer that service at the team store in Segra Stadium. So be on the lookout for that. Also, on these hot summer days, what could be better than having a Fayetteville Woodpeckers headband? So we have all kinds of different styles, and the thing that I love about this headband myself is that you can actually dip it in some ice cold water and then wear it during the day, and you never get too hot, and that's perfect for North Carolina humidity. So make sure that you go to the team store website and purchase all of your Fayetteville Woodpeckers fan gear and tell Brittany Victoria sent you. I think I'm having a little bit of difficulty here on Instagram, but let me see. Not sure why we're having some difficulties, but that's all right. We'll figure it out some way, shape, or form. Okay. That's weird. Gotta love technology. Well, we'll continue doing our story time on Facebook because I see all of you joining in and I appreciate that. So we'll figure out what's going on with Instagram in a little while. But today's story, we're so excited. So y'all know that I'm a girly girl, and I think that it's time for us to, cater to all of our women out there who love baseball as well, just like I do. So this story that we're going to share today, however, we do have a very strong male protagonist in it as well. So we're going to dig into the treasury of fairy tales. This was one of my favorite books growing up. I would always love to pick out the story inside of it because they had so many different ones in it, and it was just always so entertaining. But the story that we are going to read today is the 12 Dancing Princesses. So everybody go ahead, gather around on the couch, on the floor, wherever you are, and let's get to reading together with our listening ears on. Here we go. The 12 Dancing Princesses. A long time ago, the king and queen of a far-off land had 12 beautiful daughters. There were 2 sets of twins and 2 sets of triplets. The eldest and youngest had been born singly. Every night, the princesses asked if they might go dancing. Do we have any dancers out there? Oh, that's wonderful. Keep up the good work. But the king always said no. Then he locked their bedroom door for good measure. Each morning, however, the princesses' shoes were tattered and full of holes, as if the princesses had been dancing all night long. Nobody could explain this, and the princesses would not tell. The king sent an announcement to all the land, saying that anyone who could solve the mystery might choose one of the princesses as his wife. But if he did not find the answer in 3 nights, he would be imprisoned. Ooh, that's pretty harsh. Many young princes from distant kingdoms came to try, but they always fell asleep before they could solve the mystery. After the third night, they were thrown in prison. One day, Michael, a poor lad from the country, came to try his luck. He had walked a very long time on the hard roads to reach the castle, and he was hungry and weary. Outside the gate, he came upon an old woman, dressed in rags and carrying a wicker basket. Michael saw at once the coin she had dropped. She was stooped over, searching for it on the ground. He picked it up for her, and she thanked him humbly. I haven't eaten in 2 days. Could you spare me something from your market basket? Michael asked. The old woman smiled, showing her snaggle tooth, then reached into the basket and said gladly, "But I have something much better for you than food. You have helped me, and now I will help you. Here is a cloak to make you invisible, and above all, do not drink anything the princesses offer you." Ooh, a coat of invisibility? Oh my goodness. And don't drink anything. Two very good gifts. Michael wondered how the old woman knew that he had come to solve the riddle of the princesses, but he took the cloak with thanks. When he reached the castle, Michael asked the king's permission to try to solve the mystery. He was taken to a bedroom near the princesses. The eldest, Aurora, brought him a small cake and a cup of wine that, unknown to Michael, contained a sleeping potion. Michael ate the cake and, remembering the old woman's words, only pretended to drink the wine. Then he stretched out on his bed as if to go to sleep. So there she is. She's offering him the cup. It's a good thing he didn't drink it. What happens next? The princesses began to dress themselves in fancy clothes. They brushed their curls and decked themselves in jewels, laughing and singing all the while. But Alicia, the youngest, felt something was wrong. "Wait! I fear there is trouble," she whispered. "You only imagine it," said the doubting Aurora. When they were ready, Aurora walked up to one of the beds and knocked 3 times on the headboard. And once it sank into the floor. A long passageway ending in a staircase opened up in the wall. "Hurry!" called one of the triplets, and the princesses ran down the hall, one after the other. Michael jumped up, put on the cloak, and made him invisible, and hurried after them. In his haste, he stepped on the hem of Alicia's dress. "Something clutched my dress!" she cried. "You just caught it on a nail," Aurora scoffed. In a short while they came to a forest. The leaves of the trees were made of silver and glowed in the moonlight. They rustled together, making a music of their own. Michael snapped off a silver leaf and slipped it into his pocket. They passed through a second forest of trees with gold leaves, and through a third with diamond leaves. At last they came to a castle whose highest towers were shrouded in fog. 12 handsome princes waited outside and escorted the princesses into a large, beautiful ballroom. Everywhere there were lights and music. A long table was laden with wines, meats, poultry, breads, fruit, puddings, and cakes. Now that's the kind of party I'd like to go to. The princesses and princes ate and sipped and began to dance. Michael ate and drank too, but they could not see him. Near morning, the princesses said goodbye to the princes and promised to come again the next night. They rushed back to their own castle, then up the stairway to their bedroom. Michael had run ahead. Back in his room, he slipped off his cloak and jumped into bed. "See," said Aurora, peeking in, "all is well." Michael had such a wonderful time in the enchanted castle that he decided to wait before he told the king. The second night everything happened as before. This time, as they passed through the forest of gold leaves, Michael snapped one off and put it in his pocket. On the third night, Michael decided to follow the princesses one last time. This night, when they passed through the forest of trees with diamond leaves, he snapped one off to put in his pocket. It made a cracking sound. "What was that?" asked Alicia, so alarmed that she trembled. But Aurora reassured her, saying, "It's nothing. You only imagined it." "Doesn't look like nothing to me." The princesses danced until dawn, and their shoes were full of holes once again. Just before they left, Michael slipped one of the golden wine goblets into his pocket. The next morning the king summoned Michael to his court. Michael took the silver, gold, and diamond leaves and gold goblet to set before the king. "Do you know where my daughters danced their shoes away?" asked the king. Michael told him about the enchanted castle and the 12 dancing princes. The king called for the princesses to come to him. "Does this young man tell the truth?" the king asked his daughters. The princesses saw the leaves and the goblet and knew that they could not deny it. Besides, Aurora was now quite fond of Michael and thought him more handsome than her enchanted prince. "Yes, father, it's true," she admitted. The king said to Michael, "Young man, you have done well. You may choose one of my daughters to be your wife, and some day my kingdom will be yours." Michael smiled at the two sets of twins. He smiled at the two sets of triplets, and he smiled at the youngest, the pretty Alicia. Then he chose Aurora for his wife, the eldest. Aurora smiled and said she would accept Michael's hand, for she knew now that she had fallen in love with him. Michael kissed her hand and said with a voice full of feeling that he had loved her from the moment he first saw her. Oh. The two then knelt before the king to receive his blessing. Soon after, a royal wedding took place in the palace gardens, and Aurora and Michael pledged their unending love for each other beside the garden's ornamental fountain. The ceremony was even grander and more magnificent than the dancing and feasting had been in the enchanted castle. In time for the wedding festivities, the king had released from his dungeon the young princes who had failed to solve the mystery. Some returned to faraway kingdoms, but others, it is said, stayed and found wives among the 11 dancing princesses. The end. So, Michael did as he was told. He did his very best and he solved the mystery of the 12 dancing princesses. The truth will always come out and the truth will always set you free. So thank you for joining us for Story Time at Home with the Woodpeckers. We hope to see you again next week. You'll get to see my friend, our manager of communication, Ben Hughes, as he reads for you next week. So make sure you mark it on your calendars. Also, mark on your calendars for our latest podcast to drop, our official Woodpeckers podcast. So that will come out on Friday. So be on the lookout for it because you never know who Matt Dean is going to have on deck to share the latest and greatest news about the Woodpeckers and, of course, our parent Major League Baseball team, the Houston Astros, who are doing phenomenal, by the way. Go Astros and go Woodpeckers. Everyone, have a wonderful Tuesday and enjoy the rest of your week. Stay safe.